Hello, awesome people. I hope you guys are well. Today is Sunday, and it's a special Sunday. It's Happy Mother's Day here in South Africa. I don't know if it's actually internationally as well, but I just wanted to say my name is Letsogo Fadija. Welcome to my channel, and I wanted to take this opportunity actually to send a shout out to my mother and say Happy Mother's Day. Her name is Matlodi Sophie Modise, and this woman has looked after me over and beyond, and as a mother, what I find incredible, what she's done is she's supported, she's cared, and unwaveringly always stood there for me, regardless of sometimes not understanding my vision, my ideas, or what I wanted to become. And what I also salute my mother for is she never tried to make me into who she was or she wanted me to be, but she was wise and mature enough to allow herself to raise me to be who I want to be, so there was never any preconceived ideas through her parenting as to, hey Taho, I want you to be like this and this and this, aside for like keeping your room tidy, have decent hair, when I was old enough, get some makeup, girl, and stuff. And the thing that I also wanted to make me realize I should share about and should share on this platform is, so I remember reading this book in December 2017, January 2018, I think. Yeah, I read this book and I absolutely loved it. Michelle Obama Becoming. And I just actually watched the Netflix edition of Becoming, and I was like, oh, it's so good. But for me, what stood out is that we must ensure that we don't just allow people to be stats, but we also enable ourselves to share the stories and to engage with their stories. And it made me realize how important it is to share the narrative of where we come from, because sometimes when people look at you now, they don't know, wow, this is where actually we come from, and this video is actually about my mother, a bit of her journey, and why I felt it was important to share her journey is that my mother is a teacher. Hey, she's a teacher, but in her youth she used to do a lot of pageants, and she used to win a lot of pageants. Like that girl, like that woman had her body for days, and the other thing about her is her mother used to be my grandmother has passed away, but my grandmother Makoti Dikengeng, Alice Dikengeng, Mohabi, was also used to be a domestic worker and a cleaner, and when she actually exited her job, a government job, she used to work at a hospital as a caretaker for children in a hospital and stuff. And the background is that, as well as on my dad's side as well, my grandmother there was also a helper, domestic worker. So that's the background that I come from. And the thing I also saw in my mother's life is that every generation was that you must progress, and the women supported each other. I know that both my grandmothers from my dad's side and my mother's mother were very, very adamant about education. And I think that's actually the story in South Africa, that education has played a big part in shaping the dreams of what people thought their kids can aspire for. Having that background is that my mother trained to be a teacher because she decided she doesn't want to be a nurse. She has an aunt who's a nurse, and she was like, she'd rather be a teacher. And what I knew, looking back, I remember having a conversation with my mother, and she said, had she grown up during my era, she would have done completely different things. But the opportunity she had at that time that was reachable for her was to become a teacher. And what I loved is my parents got married when they were she was in her 27 and my dad was 31 and stuff. They had dated for a long time, and when they got married, my mother said she had never seen marriage as something to be idealized, hopefully that's the word, idealized. And I remember her growing up, she would always share with me, she'd never make me like children, babies and stuff, or like hubby, whatever. She never discussed marriage when she discussed my my future plans. Like if a marriage topic came up, yes, she would talk about it, but she was always sort of trying to engage my mind, my critical thinking. Where am I going? What am I planning? Am I pushing myself hard enough? And that's the only concept of pushing I felt my mother did, in terms of her parenting. But another part of her story that I need to bring forward is that my mother has been mothering before she was even a biological mother, and I remember, because a lot of her family members, they lived together and they'd have to go, like, I remember and would come back, and you stay with aunts and uncles. She loved them, but she also had a younger cousin that she ended up having to assist with raising, my uncle and stuff. And as a teenage girl, being seen with this baby around, she said the stigma was people used to think it's her baby. And people would be like, yo, no, sorry, she's lying. She's lying. It's her baby, but she's out here doing pageants. And she said she had to decide that that's not going to be defining for what she can and cannot do at that moment in time. But she was very engaged in like raising my uncle and being there for him, to the point that he, I believe, sees my mom as a mom, also, yeah. And the story is that she became a mother in that instance because before she was a biological mother, she was, helping to raise this cousin / uncle, And then what happened is when she got married to my dad's family also had family members who needed assistance who were much younger. And when she was a young wife, she also had to now starting to mother, in a way, teenagers, and being there for them, supporting them financially, as a parent would. And I think it was very strenuous, but the thing that comes across my mother's entire story is that even to this day, even though there have been a lot of family members that she's had to, over and above her 3 children, her biological 3 children, she's had to support in some way. Somebody needs money for school, somebody needs money for university fees, registration fees, somebody needs money for food at home, somebody needs, there was always something that was needed. Is that she stayed a generous soul. She stayed the type of woman who was like, no, I'm going to be there for this person. And another big factor for me that is very differentiating about my mom is she's not a religious person. She's not hyperly religious. So, sorry, it's not Makod. She's not the we go to church kind of lady, like my mom's not about that life. Which is a shock to me because she has shown so much level of maturity, generosity, empathy, humanity towards so many people in her life. And she's still alive. Yes, she's still alive. Sorry, I'm not talking about in the past. And today, when I was watching the story Michelle Obama on Netflix, is that I just remembered Michelle Obama kept showing her mom in the videos, and she talks a lot of family footage and stuff. And the thing that I picked up as well was like, yeah, even in the book, she said that when she got into the White House, she brought her mom in, to help her raise the children. And I've seen, though we all know Michelle Obama, few of us know her mother's name, but the mother has played as critical a part in making the Obama administration as successful as it was, because she assisted a lot in the family side of managing things. And I just wanted to say that having seen my mother become the woman that she's still, being, she's now 61, but yeah, I'm 30, by the way. I'm turning 30 this year. She's 61, and she's managed to raise really great kids, I believe, but she's also managed to be a supporting pillar to many other families. Some have given their testimony, some have, sent quiet letters, or word and stuff. And for a woman who just kept going, I mean, life was not easy, guys. There was a time, we were almost losing a house, and I'm going to school every day, because my dad had lost his job as a teacher because of political issues and stuff. growing up, I didn't understand the whole story. But then my dad had to go into business, and that wasn't going all the time well. Like, so there'd be moments of like scariness, as a woman married with children with a family to support. I just saw my mother go from strength to strength, grow glory to glory, if I can use some biblical terms. And the other thing I also remember is that there was a time she used to get teased, apparently, by like people she knew, her peers, and as this other friend of hers, they were also teachers. She used to get teased that she's taking her children to these expensive schools. They don't have cars. Like, literally, guys, we drove like a jalopy, like, like those cars. Like, we went from driving really nice cars to like cars that are like, oh wow, and my mom was like, no, my children will have the best education they can have. And I remember there was a time, I'll never forget this. My mom loves makeup, guys. She loves makeup. She loves looking good. She loves doing her hair. Everybody just knew her. Like, Sophie's that lady. She's good looking. She always looks after herself. And for a few years, I think it was almost like 5 years, because I had to wait until I got to varsity, my mother stopped buying makeup, guys. Like, makeup, she stopped doing her hair. She stopped. Like, you can imagine, something she valued so much, was a big part of her definition and part of her grooming as a woman. She stopped doing, like, all those nice perfumes she loved, the fragrances, and that was just purely just to keep the family going, and to be in order for us to be able to be in the school that we needed to be in. And I mean, I was in a private school, and it wasn't cheap. I knew, like, okay, this portion of the family income every month is going to this, and over and above the fact that it's going to this is that mama needs help, guy, and there's no time for her to be out here doing her hairs and stuff. And that also meant that there was no money for her to be, or my dad to be, considering a luxurious or nice car, because they just had to have just the basics. They gave us a beautiful family home, which I really appreciated. I've seen miracles with how God has saved our family and provided and everything. But the story, in ending my video, I just wanted to say, what I have understood from seeing my mother's perspective of motherhood is that motherhood is not something that happens only when you have a child, a biological child, but it's also when you decide to nurture and care for and support and be a pillar in your family, in your community, and also in whatever vision that God entrusts you with. And what I have seen also about her life is she has never presumed that someone has. She always makes sure that someone does have. And the reason I'm making that differentiation is that whenever somebody would enter our home, my mother would look at them and assess for herself, I think this person has sharp. So then she will put that person to the side and ask, how are you? And if that person gives a mild story, then what would happen is, when the person leaves our house, they live with a lot of stuff, they live with meat, they live with this, they live with that, and that is something I have seen her do. Is she is such a provider, a supportive soul, very quiet. She talks, but when she talks, it's like a roar, like sorry, it's like yeah, she gets there. And I did that twice, yeah. She does that, but I have seen that is her character has been so solid in being such a loving provider, and as a mother, I'm thankful she is the mother that she is. I'm not a mother. I don't have a child, or no baby at the time moment or anytime soon. But her example to me, it's been amazing, and I'm thankful for the woman she has helped other women to become, how she supported other women's dreams when she felt her dreams weren't even being met or coming true. And I'm also thankful that she never allowed a bitterness to come into her spirit to prevent her from being who she's always been known as a source of wisdom, as a source of support, a source of humility. She's very humble as well, like a very humble woman, but she knows her mind. That's one thing my mom also has. She knows her mind. And I just realized that I know right now we're in the midst of COVID restrictions, lockdown, we're wondering the future, what's happening. And I just wanted to take a lesson from my mother's life and say that this woman has seen storms. She's seen near bankruptcy, financial ruin. She's had to deal with her children not being always the healthiest, having to see us, go to doctors and stuff like that. And she's also come from a background where poverty was this close, and she comes from a background also where, we know, there's a lot of people you have to come back and build up. And as a South African, I just wanted to say that we can take a lesson out of Matlodi's life, and that tough times come, but people with character, the character of generosity, the character of wisdom, the character of perseverance, and the character of hope will definitely see through this time. As tough as the times had been in the past, and she still had to be a mother, she still had to be an employee, she still had to be a wife, she still made it. And today, looking back, when anybody visits or sees us, they will not even see that we went through all the stuff that we went through. And I know that my story is not unique in the sense of, I'm sure everybody has a story about times of trials, of circumstances, of situations that they have had where they felt like life was crumbling, or it's almost over, or it is over. But I know for a fact that it is not over. And if you have gone through that, or you're still going through that, trust and believe you will get through it. Just know there's always someone around you who is a Matlodi, who is a Sophie, who is there placed by God to be a supporting pillar, a supporting friend, a supporting wife, a supporting best friend, But if you find yourself in a situation where you are supposed to be the Matlodi or the Sophie, please do it. Because on the other end of that is breakthroughs like mine, like breakthroughs like my cousins, breakthroughs like her friends that she supported. And also, I also realized that even though my mother was a great mother, she didn't mother me in isolation. She really got my grandmothers involved. I was raised by 3 grandmothers, and not raised in the sense of I never lived with my parents. I always lived with my parents, but they would assist my mother in raising me, visits, taking care of, and also her cousin sisters. They were very involved in, raising me up, raising my brothers, supporting the family when things were rough and tough. And also, I remember one of my grandmothers actually, she passed away last year. Love her. The one I said, she was a domestic worker, my mother's mother, but she ended up becoming a cleaner at a hospital. But then she also ended up being a caretaker at a hospital for kids, for young children. Is that there was a school, the private school that I was gonna apply for. I had to do an entrance exam, and I did the entrance exam. And after I had done the entrance exam, my parents didn't know I passed the entrance exam. Well, they didn't know I had to pay an entrance fee, acceptance fee. And it was the middle of the month. Did my grandmother not give my parents the money to, pay for me to be able to be accepted into the school? And that, I remember, was one of the things as well that I realized, that having an open hand that enables other people to pursue their dreams means that you might not directly partake of their salary or whatever, but it does mean that you can partake in knowing that you helped build someone's future. And by building someone's future, you're definitely building South Africa. Because today, where I am, I work in the investment management industry for a really great company with really amazing professionals who have pedigree, who have amazing backgrounds, their qualifications, their work ethic, everything. But a big part of my work is realizing that I'm one of the people who has the opportunity to serve my country by being an investment manager, managing pensions, retirement funds, provident funds, and life funds. And that for me is that is unbelievable, knowing that this is my background, that I am the granddaughter of a domestic worker, or a lady who started off as a domestic worker during apartheid, that I am the daughter of a teacher, and that she had bigger dreams, but she ensured that when she raised me, she could allow me to pursue my dreams, and that today I stand a fully fledged, complete sort of professional, knowing that my mother still has my back to this day, and that the stories that are in my background are nothing compared to what everybody else is going through or is going to create, knowing that there's more, but in that more, I'm happy and thankful for each and every woman who contributed in nurturing me, protecting me, advising me, raising me, and trusting that when I pour into this young one, I'm building this nation. I'm building someone who's going to be a nation builder. So thank you very much, Mama. And I also thank all the other mothers who are out there striving, regardless of the circumstances, to raise children, to be there for your communities, and also to try and improve yourselves, knowing that it's not easy, this journey. God bless everyone. God bless South Africa. And just remember, we truly are blessed. We are blessed. And keep the hope alive. And I hope you all had a great Mother's Day. Yay!